feels like. This is what it feels like.
Welcome back. The papers are here. Daily Graphic this morning begins with reverse remission for Montier Trio. A lawyer asks Supreme Court. That story also captured by the Ghanaian Times. A lawyer files suit against Montier 3 remission on page 12 of the Ghanaian Times. We'll take a look at that story later on. The finder says 25.2 billion Ghana cedis more loan planned from August to December. We're told that $1 billion Eurobond also in the offing. Now, the Daily Statesman says NDC abusive campaign against me won't work. That's according to the front runner of the NPP, Nana Addo. And then we're ready for campaign of insults. That story is said to have been told by the Vice President on the store of the Central Region. We'll take a look at that later on. And the Financial Post, government introduces $1 and 10-year bonds. The Economic Times, government poised to issue 5th Euro bond. Those are stories captured on some of the newspapers around me. Daily Guide says, NDC wants me dead. Nana replies, cancer claim. And EC office bent down. These are some of the stories on the pages of the newspapers this morning. My guest to my right is a Deputy Communications Minister, Felix Kwatiofosu. Good morning, Felix.
Good morning.
Hope you're doing great.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming. And then to my left is the Member of Parliament for the Tema East constituency, Daniel Titus Glover. Good morning.
Don't mix my name.
Okay.
Why are you trying to mix my name up like that?
So don't worry, it's a Tuesday morning, so when things get mixed up like that, don't worry.
The first name, the middle name, and the surname.
All right, okay. I'm grateful. Titus Glover.
Ah, here he goes again. It's Daniel
Titus Glover. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm grateful for your time. Welcome once again to our studio. All right, now let's begin with this story on the Daily Graphic. The lawyer in the Bonafo region asking the Supreme Court to reverse what the president has done. Titus, let me start with you. This is an issue that we thought has been put to finality, but it's come up again. What do you make of this attempt to reverse what the president has done constitutionally?
First of all, I say good morning to your viewers and good morning to my good brother. This Montier issue is going to be with us for some time, because when you look at the genesis of the problem and the way they went about it, was quite unfortunate. Yesterday, when you look at the headlines of most of the newspapers, the electoral commissioner was admonishing media houses and journalists to be circumspect in their reportage, particularly in the season that we find ourselves in. I'm not a lawyer, but listening to some lawyers, particularly my senior Honorable Tachian, I heard him saying that the contempt was not against the state. It was against the courts. And the powers of the judiciary is vested in the courts. So if these three gentlemen has been charged with contempt, and the judges have done what they are supposed to do, and by the application of Article 72 by His Excellency the President to pardon them, it's trying to raise some constitutional difficulties here and there. And that is why a lawyer, you've not read the full story, so I don't know the name of that lawyer.
I think lawyer Tuayeboa from the Bonafo. He's the president of the Bonafo
branch of the
Bar
GBA.
Association. Yes.
Yeah. So if we need to test the law and see how it works. Because the president acted on pressure.
That's what you know.
That is what I know. Because when the judgment was given, NDC supporters started agitating, threatening that they are not going to vote for him. When you listen to Mugabe, he boldly said that he's working for the president. And for that matter, there's nothing that he will do that will stop him from projecting and promoting the interests of the president. So he was bold. He was going around insulting people, vilifying people, individuals, chiefs, everybody. Unfortunately, they went to push the neck of an elephant. In Ghana, when we say, oh, Achishwase, you have done what you are not supposed to do. And it landed them in jail. So now here you go. Even in their Cape Coast party program, the stadium people started moving out to show their protest to the president that these gentlemen were working in your interest.
Again, that is how you saw it.
You understand? So, no, the party people threatened. They came openly.
But you're suggesting that people were leaving the stadium as a show of protest.
Right.
And I'm asking, that is how you saw it.
That is what I saw.
Okay.
And to walk the talk of the NDC members. My younger brother there, he has an NGO. What is it? The advocacy something. Felix, what's the name of that?
We're not discussing.
So Felix
you
facilitated the signatures with his NGO.
But we're told Titus. You see, if you don't,
Bride Nana Addo.
See, the release from the presidency suggests that the president agreed to the petition from the conterminors, not that of the NDC.
Felix sitting here, he has an NGO. That is advocacy something. Help me. You see, he's quiet. He's not talking.
No, but you see,
he used his NGO to facilitate the signatures.
Which signatures?
And you have signatures of NDC members.
The president said
including
it's not based on that petition. The petition was from the conterminors.
Can I speak?
So if we go straight to the point, then we can make progress.
You are asking me so a lawyer said they should reverse the remission of the Muntia 3. And we need to tell the story.
Okay, go ahead.
And Felix and his platform or NGO facilitated the signatures. And you have ministers of state, cabinet ministers of state. They are not working for NDC. They are working for the state. Gender minister, education minister, deputy education minister, tourism minister, including Felix himself, went and appended their signatures to it. And when they finished, their lawyers, because the president was received, because it was an orchestra. The whole thing was a drama. Then the chief of staff have to receive it. And the president acts with the advice of his Council of State. So they gave it to the Council of State. And the Council of State also have to do what is right. So they advise that the president should go and take them out. Now look at what has happened.
What has happened?
That is what the lawyer is saying. So now they are going to court law. When you do that, you are weakening the institution of the judiciary.
How?
This is exactly what is done.
To test the law?
Because I've told you that I've listened to my senior attaché. He said the contempt was not against the state, but it was against the court.
I think it's rather strange judiciary because
you understand?
They have to interpret the law.
So now,
if they interpret the law,
the
how does
same
it amount
judges,
to weakening
Nanamfo,
the credibility
please,
of the judiciary?
That is what is happening. This is how it's developing. The same judges endorse you in the Supreme Court petition that you can go ahead and be the president of this country. They were happy. The judiciary, the Supreme Court has acted. When the Attorney General, who was supposed to have started the prosecution against this gentleman, she didn't do it. The National Security said they don't have the capacity to go ahead with their threat. So it was compelled on the Supreme Court to act what they did. Now they have taken action The NDC people have facilitated it to get them released, and the president feels so threatened, quickly have to succumb to that. And you saw the celebration. You saw the plejo, they danced.
Wrap up for me, Titus.
You saw the plejo. You know plejo?
I didn't see it.
That is my festival in Tema. That was a very beautiful culture of my people in Tema.
Okay.
But powder all over. Felix and Co. all over the place. Dancing plejo, celebrating. Because they have taken them out. And bringing them out is an opportunity for even going and do worse things. But seriously, I think that I want to take the admonition of the EC boss, that all of us, that in getting the opportunity to speak on any platform, we should be mindful of our tongue, because it is this country that we have, and unfortunately, this is what we've gotten ourselves into. So I believe that it's an opportunity for us to go and test the law. This is the president of the Ghana Bar Association in Brong-Ahafo region. And in doing so, we are really enriching our democracy that we have in this country.
I'm grateful.
So we'll see how it goes. This is just the beginning of this story.
Titus, I'm grateful for your submission there. Felix, is this indeed a test of the law?
Well, it is becoming fashionable these days to have all manner of people rush to court with all manner of frivolous suits, only to have those suits thrown out.
It is your right, though.
Of course it is, but it is also the right of citizens to be wary of actions like that. Indeed, not too long ago, the Ghana Bar Association itself, the umbrella body to which this gentleman belongs, took the president to court, seeking to challenge his ability or capacity, as it were, to appoint an electoral commissioner and even appoint a number of judges to various courts. It does appear to me that there is a group of people in this country who believe that the powers that President Mahama wields, which all other presidents before him and after him have either wielded or were willed, should not be exercised. And that anytime he does anything, it must be subjected to the most frivolous of challenges. It is in that light that I see this particular suit. Others have been thrown out. As far as government is concerned, the president acted constitutionally, and ignore the propaganda by MPP lawyers and others running around claiming that there has been some wrongdoing. The president acted within the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. Article 72 gives him the power to grant pardons or remissions or any form of reprieve to persons who are convicted for offenses and sentenced to specific punishment. Presidents before him used it. It was the same article that President Kufuor relied on to free people who had committed murder, armed robbery, and even members of the NDC who had been incarcerated. Mr. Chikata, Mr. Kwampepra, and the likes were given pardon by President Kufuor.
Would arguments hold that the circumstances are
the circumstances are no different? You see, it is a prerogative of mercy. It means that the president must review the case and see whether there's an element of mercy that can be shown. First of all, every prisoner, everybody who goes to prison is worthy of mercy. It is not practical to free everybody. Every person who suffers incarceration, and right, if you've ever been put behind what we call counterback, I'm sure you would understand what it means to have your freedoms curtailed in that manner. So every prisoner deserves mercy to begin with. And those of us who have the Christian faith are admonished to have mercy for people like that and pray for them. That is how come people go to visit prisoners. There are churches that have missions in prisons who go to preach to prisoners with a view to converting them to Christianity. I'm sure our Muslim brethren also have similar activities. So the fundamental point is this, that anybody put in prison is worthy of sympathy and mercy. The second point is that Titus seeks to create the impression that this action stems only from calls by members of the NDC. In fact, the very first person to call on the president to exercise that right was Professor Kweku Asare, a long-standing member of the New Patriotic Party and a constitutional lawyer. He was of the view that an injustice had been done to these gentlemen by the Supreme Court, and that the Supreme Court had overstepped its bounds, and so it was necessary for the president to invoke this article in order to reverse that injustice and also give these gentlemen a reprieve. Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, a founding member of the MPP and a long-standing member of the MPP, in terms of his credentials, he's up there with Nana Addo. He's one of those who founded the MPP. He signed the petition and called for the release of these gentlemen.
Perhaps it's not because he's been suspended.
No. But he may have a disagreement with his party now. But his credentials in the NPP cannot be disputed. He is a citizen of this country and therefore has a right to call for this. Honorable Kennedy Japan, NPP member of Parliament for Asin Central in the central region of Ghana. He said that after 2 months, he thought that this gentleman should be given a remission. He called for 2 months, but it was a remission that he was asking for nonetheless. So NPP members, leading NPP figures, have been involved in the call for the release of these gentlemen. Again, he speaks about, and let me set the record straight here. I used to work in an organization called the Research and Advocacy Platform, which I have left since 2012. Their candidate for Adenta, Yabwabia Samwa, used to work with the Ghana Integrity Initiative. He left. It doesn't mean that if today the Ghana Integrity Initiative said something, it's Yabwabia Samwa who has put them up to it or is behind it. So that point must be clearly established. But RAP opened a book of petitions. And every citizen of Ghana reserves the right to protest what they believe to be injustice. There are many who believe that the Supreme Court's ruling was unjust. It was severe. It was excessively harsh. Cabinet, indeed, from the president to the lowest person in this land, everybody reserves the right to protest what they believe to be a miscarriage of justice. And therefore, if ministers thought that the three gentlemen had been treated unfairly or a high-handed approach had been adopted in their case, they reserved the right to mount that protest and call for their release. It is not unlawful.
You put the president under pressure?
Again, I don't know what they mean. You see, I don't know what they mean by pressure. Why? In the case of the Commissioner of Shraj, Madam Lamti, I believe, it was an MPP member, Richard Nyama, who petitioned the president. So as for MPP people, they can petition the president for specific courses of actions to be taken. But NDC members do not have the right to petition the president. Again, it is a grave injustice and a grave act of discrimination for anybody to say that because these gentlemen are perceived to be NDC, they should not benefit from the same privileges that other Ghanaian citizens enjoy. Ademu Dramani II was a member of parliament for the New Patriotic Party. His family petitioned that he was unwell, so the president should grant him pardon. And the president did. He was a member of the New Patriotic Party. If he deserved pardon, then any other member of Ghanaian society, whether they are NDC, PPP, ABC, or SYZ, also deserve pardon if the circumstances call for it. And we hold that persons who suffer harsh imprisonment are deserving of mercy. Apart from the general principle that I have that all prisoners are deserving of mercy. The other point too must be made, that people have the right to believe that people should not be incarcerated on account of what they have said. Modern democracies the world over are moving away from that system.
You're talking about free speech.
I'm telling you, if you go to the UK today, they have removed that part of their criminal system that they call scandalizing the courts. Nobody will go to jail for scandalizing the court in the United Kingdom.
But it doesn't mean free speech doesn't mean you should threaten the life.
But the point is that free speech was put in our constitution for a reason. It was in the belief that officialdom or people like myself, Titus, who find ourselves in various arms of government, wield power. And therefore, for instance, on this program, people will send in text messages and disagree with us. Some may be abusive or even insulting. But must we have the ability to simply go and hold those people and throw them into court through a capricious, arbitrary process, simply because we are angry about what they have said? That is what freedom of expression means. That is why it was put in the constitution, to guarantee citizens the right to question their leaders without fearing retribution. But if people breach the barriers of freedom of expression, we believe that there are other punishments that can be meted out, apart from incarceration. Indeed, there is a case on which what do you call it? A case brought before the African Human Rights Court. One of the judges who sat on that case happens to be the president of the panel that convicted these three gentlemen. In their ruling, they made it clear that except in very limited circumstances of hate speech, which are occasioned by somebody's race, color, religion, or ethnicity, nobody should be imprisoned for infractions of free speech. It is a judgment that exists in the annals of the African Human Rights Court. So why must a different approach be adopted in Ghana? And why should people think that other citizens do not have a right to call for the removal of such obnoxious laws from our books and call for remission or reprieve for persons who suffer such harsh imprisonment? I'm not certain, once again, that even the MPP to which Titus belongs, has what it takes to come and lecture anybody about the use of decent language. And he mentioned the EC chairman.
Admonition.
What has the MPP not subjected the EC chairperson to? From their candidate or flag bearer to the lowest person in their party, they have used very abusive language on a woman. Language which I cannot repeat here because of its offensive nature. There is a party that consistently tops every poll of insults in this country.
The last time we checked, your party has stopped because of the Muntie issue.
But they've done about 12 or 13. Our party has stopped twice. The MPP has stopped 11 times. So there's a preponderance of evidence that shows that they are the most abusive party in this country. The same thing that they accuse the three gentlemen of doing on Muntie FM.
Okay,
it's what they do on a daily basis in places like Happy FM and Oman FM on a daily basis. So the discussion is not about what has been said, but how not to use laws to clamp down on the rights of citizens in a manner that disadvantages them and occasions injustice. That is what we are looking at. And citizens of the country must be given a right to protest what they perceive to be injustice or unfair use of power. That is the discussion that we ought to be having. So this attempt to bastardize people and, as it were, knock us together is most unfortunate. But if you allow me, there's a publication in the New Statesman which I want to correct about something that the Vice President is supposed to have said. I think that is really fair.
We'll discuss that story.
Okay.
Yes,
because you reviewed it. It's only fair that
we'll discuss that story.
There's been a gross misrepresentation of what you said.
We'll discuss that story. Yes. Titus, a quick... we can just 2 minutes and then we can move on.
Felix is trying hard to run away from the fact that the release of this gentleman was the pressure from their party and their members. He can run away from that. And Ghanaians visibly can see what really went on. I've heard the lawyers, I've asked questions. What is the normal sentencing for people charged with contempt? And I'm told it's 3 years. It's 3 years. So if these gentlemen were given 4 years, it means that the judges
4 months.
4 months. They were so lenient. They listened with the pleas from their lawyers and even the public outcry and all that. That's why they gave them the 4 months. And I also read on social media the president's lawyer, Tony Litter, appealing to the president not to do that. Because this is a very senior lawyer to the bar, and telling the president, if you attempt to do same, the consequences will be grievous. You see what has happened? You see what has happened? But because of political aggrandizement, because of political advantage, to satisfy my followers from the pressure they are exerting on the president, he needs to succumb. Now this is how it's going to end us. And if you are not careful, it can bring a lot of constitutional challenges.
Why not talking about those who
between
wanted
the presidency or the executive
to go
and the judiciary? So now we have to test the law. That is what I'm looking at. We're going to test the law. And the NDC are not happy when we are raising some of these things. There's a distinction between critique and insults. They always want to compare Oman FM and Muntie. And they said they established Muntie to come and match Oman FM.
That's what the NDC
Yes, that's what they keep saying.
I see.
There's a distinction between a critique and insults. Have you listened to Muntie, that Mukabi boy? Have you listened to him before?
I have.
Me could have got my share before.
Okay.
But me, I'm a politician. It's part of our job. What insult hasn't Nana Addo gotten through? Now they are not focusing on issues, including the president himself, leading the attack on insults. Where is he going to get us to? Where is this insults taking us to?
You think
and when
someone
these gentlemen were incarcerated,
insulting?
there was some sanity on our airwaves. At least it brought some respite in the way these airwaves are being handled. Today you've gone back to come and continue what they were doing. Maybe this time they are not going to focus on the judges. But they brought Muntie purposefully for Akufo-Addo and the MPP. Felix is aware. He chairs those.
So
he chairs those.
If he is aware or not.
Those Sierra callers and all those they are hawks in the media and all that. Is that how we should reduce our politics to? Is that what we should reduce our politics to? But they can continue. We are not ready to engage in insults. So long as the people of this country are facing the brunt of the president's mismanagement of this economy, there are no jobs. The youth over there are crying. Farmers are crying. Fishermen are crying. Everybody, jobs. The tariffs that we are paying have become so exorbitant. These are clear issues. So their message is on attack on Nana Addo. That's what they are doing, from the president through the vice president, Felix, and all of them. Their message today is to attack Nana. And this is not the first time. They started from 2008, 2007, up to today. The man is today, he has what? He has cancer. Oh, Felix. Why? Is that how you reduce our politics too? Is that how you reduce our politics today too? So I think that seriously, I think that I still want to maintain my position on the matter that we are going to test the law.
Okay.
The lawyers are going to do what is right, and let's give them the opportunity. I wish end of the road. They have demonstrated some remorse, even though I doubt that remorseless. I still don't trust that Mugabe boy. After Ako Gan,
all right.
Ako Gan, I can vouch for him, but don't that Mugabe.
Okay.
Well,
I'm grateful. Quick one.
The note on which he ended, epitomizes the intolerance that the NPP has descended into, which we have often highlighted. He cannot trust Mugabe, but we should trust the workers of Oman FM, Happy FM, and all the multitudes of stations on which the president is insulted on a daily basis. He speaks about insults. I have given you scientific proof of which party is most insulting. Nana Addo himself. The president is incompetent, he is corrupt, he is this, he is clueless, he is visionless. Those are compliments, I believe.
And what does the president also say?
No, I beg, when you're speaking, I kept quiet. Those are supposed to be compliments, I believe. When Nana Addo stands on the platform and accuses the EC chairperson falsely of conniving with government to rig elections, that one is a compliment. The EC chairperson should accept it and pat him on the back. But when others point to dictatorship, which is glaring in his party, where he doesn't tolerate the dissenting views, that one is said to be an insult. Now he accuses us of saying that Nana Addo has cancer. I will come to that, but I beg you, there's a publication in the New Statesman newspaper that says that the vice president has said we are ready for insults.
We're going to that story. So
yeah,
if we're going to wrap up,
maybe we'll tie it in with the allegations against us on cancer. That would be only appropriate.
All right.
First of all, let me stress that the vice president never said that we were going to engage in a campaign of insults. I mean, you can check his track record as a politician. He has never been abusive. What he said is that we in the NDC have published our achievements in the Green Book. But in the past, the NPP used to say that we have done nothing, we have done nothing. So now if they say one, we can point to two. People interpreted that to mean that he has said we were going to respond to NPP insults. So it's important that we clarify it so that the people understand. The vice president never spoke about insult. He spoke
Let
about...
me quote this one from the story. Yeah. That's a Daily Statesman story. Yeah. We're ready for campaign of insults, where in fact, the paper puts this in quote, suggesting that it is speaking from the vice president. It says, but now we're ready for them. Whatever they say, we'll respond, and we will respond in double folds. The paper says Mr. Arthur told a rally in the central
Again, that quotation is actually false. No such thing was said. What he said is that now if the NPP says one, we will say two, after he had said that we have achievements in the Green Book to show. So the quotation is actually contrived. It is fabricated. And the newspaper must do the right thing and retract it. The voice is there. Indeed, your station covered it. Your correspondent, Komlaku, which I believe was there. And he can verify this. And he did, yesterday, I saw him make a Facebook post to correct that misimpression. So it's important that we are fair to people. What they have not said should not be attributed to them. Now, on the issue of the cancer, which both the Daily Guide, the Statesman, and Titus have accused the NDC of. You see, it is surprising that the NPP would adopt this tone. At least for 48 hours, the NPP has been aware of a publication by the Africa Watch magazine, a copy of which I have. And I got to learn about this publication through the report on the front page of the Daily Guide yesterday. Right. So I sought out the magazine too. It was very difficult to get a copy, but I got one eventually. They have published a detailed report which they back with medical records showing that the flag bearer of the new patriotic party, Nana Addo, is suffering from 3 serious ailments: prostate cancer, what they call acute kidney injury, and a blockage in his coronary artery.
That's from the African Watch
That's
magazine.
from the African Watch magazine. Indeed, if you read from page 12 to page 20 or so, they published the report. Here, one of it is dated 29th January 2014, where they did a CT examination of his thorax, abdomen, and pelvis. And this is a clinical indication. In other words, the diagnosis they make: prostate cancer treated with external beam radiotherapy, UTI, which is urinary tract infection recurrence, crepitations, lung bases, query chest infection, and blah, blah, blah. They have 3 separate reports. They give dates, they give the name, the description of the physicians, the hospital, which is Wellington Hospital, a top-notch hospital in the UK, and what they say are the conditions afflicting Nana Addo. So this is a very detailed report, which will leave nobody in doubt about the seriousness of the problems that Nana Addo has. If you listen carefully, Nana Addo or the MPP has not issued a denial. All they have said is that it won't work and that the NDC has tagged Nana Addo with cancer. Meanwhile, the whole of yesterday and previously, not a single member of the NDC has said anywhere that Nana Addo suffers from cancer. Indeed, Titus will struggle, Nana Addo will struggle to point you to one NDC member who they have heard saying Nana Addo suffers from cancer. So the revelation about this was done by the Africa Watch magazine. The response that should come from the MPP is not what they are doing. What they are doing now is most disastrous. Indeed, it is a cancerous response that they've given. Issues of health are pretty serious. As we sit here, we are supposed to be younger than Nana Addo, but I'm sure if you examined all of us, you will find one health complication or the other. So that somebody will fall sick is not an issue that should be blown out of proportion. However, public office is such that many things about you become matters of interest to the public. So there are 2 things you do. You acknowledge the fact that you're a public official or you're in the public light, and then you are candid about matters like that. So this publication is made. It is detailed. It is extensive. They produce evidence, medical reports, everything, showing that you have these serious conditions.
How would you react to your critics, particularly LPP members, who say that, well, your party might have influenced the African Watch?
First of all, the Africa Watch
report
is a long-standing publication, and you have been in the media for some time. I'm sure you are aware that the editor of this magazine, Steve Mallory, there's no love lost between him and the PNDC NDC because of his attacks on the PNDC and NDC administration. Indeed, they have published details of President Mohammed's private life before.
Right.
They only a few weeks ago, they published that the founder of the NDC,
Right.
President Rawlings, was suffering from Parkinson's disease. Except that in that instance, President Rawlings acted swiftly. He issued a statement forcefully denying it and then threatened to take legal action against them. I'm aware that they've actually written to Africa Watch, asking them to retract the publication, failing which they will go to court. That is a step you take if you believe that the publication is not accurate.
So your party has not influenced anything.
But you see, that question does not even arise because the NDC doesn't publish the Africa Watch magazine. I have given you the track record of that magazine. In other words, you are saying that we went and published a story against our founder. They have a track record of exposing things with African leaders on the African continent. They have done a publication which the MPP is unable to deny. And all their reactions would appear to confirm what is in here. But you see, the MPP is approaching this wrongly. 2 things must happen. First of all, the detailed nature of this information suggests that it is people very close to Nana Addo who would have had access to this.
The reports were leaked. I'm
saying that 2 things might have happened. That people close to Nana Addo, who would be the ones who would have access to this, are the ones who perhaps may have put it out. Or there's been a major breach in the client's hospital confidentiality arrangement that should exist. So rather than falsely accuse the NDC, the MPP should rather be taking steps to tighten the confidentiality arrangements around Nana Addo, that is the people closest to him, ought to come under stricter scrutiny. And then they should go a step further to take the hospital on for this major breach. Because you see, let us put politics aside. Nana Addo is a prominent African politician. And I am aware that the Wellington Hospital treats some very prominent clients because they are a leading medical center in Europe. I don't want to believe that they are treating Nana Addo shabbily because of where he comes from. And if the MPP was acting correctly, that is where the focus of the discussion should be. Why has this hospital allowed such sensitive information about a prominent African politician to get into the public domain to cause him such embarrassment? And this is very damaging information. Right. So rather than act emotively and seek to use propaganda to court sympathy for Nana Addo, they should be addressing the problems properly. First, take a look at the arrangements around Nana Addo in terms of how information is handled, and then take steps to confront the hospital for allowing such a major breach of confidential information to occur. The NDC, President Mahama, in November of last year,
wrap up for me, Felix,
when he was campaigning to become flag bearer of the NDC, stated clearly, and I'm sure if you go into your records, you will have those tips, that we in the NDC have so much to talk about. This is our green book, in which we have catalogued our achievements. Well, this is the MPP's book, 4 years, positive change. They show monkeys and other things, but we show proper achievements. We have not finished discussing this, our green book. Therefore, we don't have the time to go and talk about anybody's else. And he stated,
but your president calls his contender a dictator, and he's not happy about it.
Yes, but that's
people are not happy.
But that is factual. I mean, today nobody can be opposed to Nana Addo in the MPP and still survive. That is a fact. He has used violence.
Known to the NDC.
Oh, but he has used violence to attack his political
That's a fact
opponents.
known to the NDC.
But this is clear. The invisible forces, the Burger Bulldogs, have they not engaged in open clashes?
Boys too.
Yes, but the Azoka boys have not gone to beat up Polafoko or Kwabene Japan. They have not gone to beat up Bachamfor in the studios of Fox FM because he was criticizing Nana Addo. So the issue about dictatorship and intolerance is known. The evidence is clear. We all saw it on our television sets when they were beating each other up because of disagreements with Nana Addo. But the president has said that the issue of health would have no place in the NDC campaign. However, the MPP's conduct suggests clearly that they believe that the issues of health should be discussed publicly. We all bore witness to what they did to President Mills. Nana Addo himself, on one occasion, issued a statement seeking to take advantage of President Mills's health. Nana Akomia, the spokesperson of Nana Akufo-Addo in 2 elections, in 2012, August 2012, a few days after President Mills's demise, accused the NDC of going to great lengths to conceal information about President Mills's health and called on us to be candid, transparent, and honest about his health. That suggests that this is a party, the MPP, that believes that issues of the health of the candidate should be made public. Therefore, they must show consistency in this matter and be candid and level up with the people of Ghana about the state of Nana Addo's health. We in the NDC have been candid that we don't think that it is an issue that should dominate political discussions. But it is a very serious matter, and if they handle it well, it will prevent a recurrence. Rather than firing their guns blankly at the NDC, they should look at the people around Nana Addo and take on the hospital for such a major breach.
I'm grateful for your submission. Titus, let me quickly come to you, and you can tie in that with the story Felix reacted to from the statement too. But the key thing is that he's preferring some advice for the NPP and suggests that, in fact, it is not the NDC that is accusing, alleging about the health status of your front runner.
Thank you very much. I think that advice is a useless advice. I don't think we need advice. We will not take advice from Felix. Felix sitting here, we started debating.
That is almost an insult on him.
We don't need advice.
Okay. Fine, but to say that is a useless advice.
Yes, I said we don't need.
It's just like saying that you've made useless submissions this morning. I don't think that's proper. Anyway,
Felix,
all right.
And his colleagues, what names haven't they called Akufo-Addo? A drug addict, a dwarf, hunchback, violent person, and right now he wasn't even referring it, dictator, and now it has come to cancer. The people around Nana Akufo-Addo, he carefully selected them. Nana is not suffering from cancer. If that is why I said, if this is how you want to reduce, they can't hide away from this. And I want to urge the party and Nana Addo's office to come out quickly because he's far away in Bolga. Somebody who is suffering from kidney by this time, cancer, and he's so active in the north, campaigning, pleading with Ghanaians that please give me the opportunity to come and save this country. And you will reduce this politics to the hilt of Nana Addo. No. He is stronger than all of us sitting in this studio.
Really?
I'm telling you, Felix. He is stronger than all of us sitting. That 72-year-old man, he's stronger than the three of us. So wherever Mallory or Steve Mallory, whatever he had his information from, I'm sure very soon they'll be responding to that publication that he has done. Nana Addo is not suffering from cancer. Felix, I want to tell you emphatically. Please.
He did not deny it.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. We
the medical records
will
have been published.
focus on the president. Look, it's unfortunate that President Mama was in the north to campaign. He never mentioned on SADA. A major vision of Adedankwa Akufo-Addo to establish a Northern Development Fund to develop the north. A president who comes from Bole, from the north. And when you came and plagiarized this idea into SADA, you use it as a conduit, as a vehicle to serve for the people of the north. He never mentioned about SADA. It is shameful, it is disgraceful, and very unfortunate that you should pass this on to your own people. Today, Nana Addo is talking about, very active, talking about the construction of dams. I had opportunity and the privilege to follow him during the 2009 presidential primaries. Apart from the Upper West, there is no constituency in Upper East and the Northern region that I don't know. Vast land, able-bodied men and women ready to work. And they give you opportunity, construct dams, give them resources to work. You went and mismanaged recklessly the money. And the only respite you have is to come and speak on Akufo-Addo who is suffering from kidney problem and having cancer and all that. I beg to differ. We will not go there with you. Continue. Use that as your campaign message to tell the people. Even if Akufo-Addo is in a wheelchair, we'll bring him to come and take the power for us. I want to tell Felix, if he's in a wheelchair, we'll push him. His mind is still active. To campaign, to redeem this country. What are we talking about? Look at how this country is being run. Look at how this country. The last 2 weeks when we met here, the agriculture is suffering. Agriculture. In 2008, we were importing food items in this country about $500 million. Today, in President Mama's government, $1.5 billion. It is because you have not been able to focus and deal with the problems in the agricultural sector. And that is killing this country. Manufacturing is suffering. Seriously. The tariff that people are paying, the cost of borrowing, the cost of doing business, this is what is killing these people. You don't focus on that. All you have is to come and talk about Akufo-Addo's cancer and kidney. The youth are crying, including my Tema East. They want jobs. When you finish nursing training, they have to go to the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations to go and do demonstration. Before they will be told to go and apply at YE, Youth Enterprise Agency. Is that where they were trained to go?
Okay.
I have just started though.
No, you're right.
No, I've just started.
We have just about 8
relax.
minutes. So
he spoke so much. And you allow him to pour out
no.
all these invectives,
Titus,
all these attacks on Nana Addo.
I determined the time.
Please, you allow I was
the time
standing.
Proportionately.
Please, you did not.
So you get ready to wrap up.
So please, give me the opportunity to debunk this politics of personal attacks and all that.
But you don't have all the time.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so go ahead.
You understand? What is Nana Addo talking about? He said in the Western region, the cocoa industry, that is dying. We need to revive it. When he said he wanted to create the Western North region, Felix and his people and the president, they said what? They've not heard it before. Now he's shying away from the bad roads. All your green book, you say you've done roads. Now he's flying with helicopter. If can I speak? Can I speak?
Titus, go.
Let's relax.
Go.
You understand?
If
you just stay
again, please.
Titus,
Now you are flying with helicopter.
Nana Addo didn't see the roads.
Felix, when you were talking, I was quiet. Relax.
You heckled me. Besides, you're speaking more than
Please, again.
Nana
Is
Addo
that
see
what?
the roads.
Is that what? Detector.
No matter what is happening.
Nana Addo, when he was fighting on the street of this country.
Only to come
And
and establish dictatorship in his party.
Okay.
Can I speak?
Fight on the street.
President Mama.
I want us to take a look at the
Can I-
parliament's
can I-
report. So
can I-
I'm giving you
can
2
I-
minutes to wrap up. So allow
Please.
him.
Can I talk?
No. You will finish.
Who is
Please,
so
please
impatient
go.
than the president?
So please go.
Nana Addo.
You hold Nana Konedu out of the
Oh,
NDC.
Konedu left the NDC.
Can I speak, young man?
2011.
What kind of recklessness is this?
in
You see the
2011,
examples of the
I'll
recklessness.
Compared to
Was
turn
in charge.
off your
You guys-
microphone.
you see examples of the
I'll
recklessness.
ask, Titus to
You hold
Come
Nana
on,
Konedu out of your party. That compelled her to go and force, what do you call it? NDP.
What do you mean? She lost.
When Dr. Josiah Aye,
She lost
Josiah
the
Aye,
She was not beaten up.
Josiah
And the way
Aye,
she was beating up
you
people
took
in your party.
you gave me a child. You did not even give him the opportunity to defend himself.
Oh, he went to court.
Kofi Ademu. It's only Ketia said it was a Togolese when you suspended him from the party. What happened? Niamasano Mali, he called your regional executives armed robbers, pickpockets. He was suspended. One parliamentary candidate in one of the Ashanti region, was he not suspended? Where was the president? You see NDC foot soldiers destroying national assets, seizing Adomi Bridge with impunity. The president was clapping. Yeah. Do it.
Titus, so your point is that
he's scared of his. When you're talking about dictators and violence, he has forgotten where his party is coming from, where the NDC came from. He has forgotten his history. He should go back and check his records.
all right.
They are happy. They are not happy because there's sanity in MPP. So every day you want MPP to be in news. MPP. Felix, shame. If that is what you want,
Well,
there is
Felix has not said
tranquility
that.
and peace in MPP.
All right.
I don't see.
I'm grateful.
I don't see. So you
Felix,
want
don't
to be
take it
happy
that he
that there's
was-
problem.
I think it was only a-
So if a decision has been
responding
taken,
all right.
you have been suspending people left, right, center.
I'm not responding personally.
Let's wrap up.
Right.
I have 5
You
more
have
minutes.
suspended people left, right,
with this
center.
Right, you
story.
see,
So don't even go there at
of all
all.
the things that he said.
Do I have the floor?
But you ended.
Am I one?
He's cutting.
You can
I want
stop
to
me.
move on.
He has stopped you. Yes.
Let's do the
We are-
final.
we are working
according-
We have 5 more
We are
minutes.
working
Okay,
according to
to
time.
wrap up. Titus, I'm grateful. I'm
So
grateful
if you
for
are
agreeing
using
to that.
Nana Addo's
You see-
Kasa
you see, right.
you've lost it.
Right. The
Go
point is
and
that-
fix the problems of the
point
country.
Is that the MPP has no scruples. They have no standards, no principles when it comes to the issue of health. Even in death, they continue to insult President Mills.
Okay.
Africa Watch has published details of the medical records of your flag bearer. It shows he has serious ailments. Rather than do an introspection and leveling up with the people of Ghana and reviewing the arrangements around him so that damaging information like this does not come out and taking on the hospital, you think that you can shift blame onto the NDC.
All right, Felix, I'm grateful.
As for the evidence
Let's
of
move
dictatorship,
on to the
right,
final one.
right.
Let's
Never,
move on to the
in,
final
never,
one. I think
I'll come to the
answered
point.
this
It's just 1
before.
minute. Never in the history of intra-party disagreements has there been so much violence as we've witnessed in the MPP,
What happened
leading
to
to the death,
What happened to
of your
Governor?
Upper East regional chairman.
All
You
right.
brought acid.
I am grateful.
Of course, it was
Gentlemen,
criminal.
I'm
You
grateful.
yourselves,
I am
accused
What
for
happened to
that. Let's wrap up. I have
Bernard
4 more
Summer
minutes.
stood in his chair.
I have 4 more
Nobody
minutes
has
to wrap
acid
up.
on anybody.
I have
His
4 more
brother
minutes to
is
wrap up.
You
You
want
poured
to say about
acid
that?
on your
All right.
chairman.
What happened to
Okay.
Francis Essien?
You poured acid on your chairman.
Can we
President?
quickly deal
What
with
happened
this
to-
one?
let's go to the-
right.
Talk
The
of
Daily
violence.
Guide story.
You
5
forgot
more
your
minutes.
past.
Is suggesting that MPs are divided over a recall. Titus will tell us if that is the truth. He is a member of the House, and according to the paper, some have suggested that the recall is a waste of resources. Others think that it deepens Ghana's democracy. Titus, we have just about 4 minutes to wrap up. 2 minutes to deal with this one, and then Felix will come in.
Thank you very much. Yesterday I went to my pigeonhole and I saw the invitation from Right Honorable Speaker. And basically we are going there to look at this Ford Explorer gifts to the President. I think 1, 2, 3, says that if 15% of members agrees for the recall of Parliament, the Right Honourable Speaker have no choice than to do same, which we are going to look at it. What the minority is trying to do is to look at that gift itself. Because when the gift was given to the president, he was silent on it. None of us knows about this story until your colleague Manasseh broke the story. He went to. We need to commend that gentleman for at least exposing the inability of the president to tell us about that gift. And for that matter, when he posed the question to Kanazoe, he was evasive until he pulled up a letter that the Ghana ambassador wrote to the border authorities in Baga to facilitate the passage of the vehicle to the president and all that. So I think that, yes, indeed, we need to find out. And sometimes when you listen to my friends, they try to equalize the gift that President Gaddafi gave to the state at that time. It was an open secret. That was brought openly and that was done. But this one to a businessman, a friend of the president, a contractor. And one of the allegations that would be made was that the land at the Ghana embassy, we are told is the size of a football park, was valued about $670,000. That is quite substantial. There are a lot of projects that contractors are doing in this country that will not cost that. Multiply $670,000 by 3.9. 6 cities. It tells you the amount of money that has gone down the drain. It's an example of the recognitions of the spending of the government. So we need to find a parliamentary, we have the opportunity to look at it. Some of the argument that my colleagues are also making is that the matter is before Shraj, and for that matter, why are we going to do something that is already being handled by Shraj? Shraj is a state institution. An individual has taken it there. It is the responsibility of Parliament, and for that matter, we in the minority, to make sure that the president should come and account. How come? How come? When he was at BBC during the corruption conference, they asked him, have you taken bribe before? They said, me, your mama, me, the president. At that time, he has taken the gift already. There was no trace of what he has done. So we wanted to establish a fact, to know what really went wrong, so that we'll take you from this. Because when you go through the code, because was it earlier this year, he launched a book on code of ethics to guide all of us, including me and Felix. But if at the time you were launching this book, way back, you have taken the gifts, you were silent about it. And so cheeky, the president said that, oh, as for me, I don't like Ford cars. I like Japanese cars. Meanwhile, you've collected it. When you go into Article 284,
okay, wrap up.
Code of Conduct for Public Officers, and let me quote: a public officer shall not put himself in a position where his personal interest conflicts or is likely to conflict with the performance of his functions of his office, unquote. The president is holding a public office. Kanazoe is his friend. There are so many contractors who bidded for those contracts that he bid for, including the walling of our embassy costing $780,000. And we are told even there are people whose cost was even less than the $760,000. So did that influence that? To come and say big thank you to the president for what he has done.
So that's what Parliament will find out.
So we want to find out. And we, the minority, wanted a special committee of Right Honourable Speaker to go into it, and so that we'll take a lesson from all that.
I'm grateful. Felix, wrap up for me.
Well, this move is nothing more than a cancerous waste of everybody's time. You see, we must bear in mind, viewers must bear in mind, that every recall of Parliament costs a lot of money. In fact, Parliament was already scheduled to be recalled, I think in September or middle of September, if I'm not mistaken. This early recall is going to cost the taxpayer money. I say it is a cancerous waste of our time. It's better than because all the issues that they are asking for, okay, are issues that have already been answered or the subject of investigation by constitutional bodies. For instance, if you read the motion, the question they ask is, has the president taken a gift or a vehicle? The answer is yes. We've stated it in an official statement released by government.
When?
An official statement released by government has stated that the president took the gift in 2012. So you waste parliament's time, waste money of the taxpayer to come and ask the same question which has already been answered. And then they try to link that to two contracts that the president had absolutely nothing to do with. It was all in the statement that we issued. The contract, the process for it began long before he became president of Ghana. One of them was the embassy walling, which actually dates back to 2001 when we were in power. The second one was an European Union Dodo Pepeso road construction project. That process was guided by the European Union itself. They had representatives on the panel that evaluated the bids. The president was nowhere. It started long before he became president. So it is nothing more than a fishing expedition, a propaganda activity intended only to cover up for the many shortfalls that they have as a party. It is a cancerous waste of everybody's time. It will go nowhere. And no wonder the majority have clearly indicated that they are not countenancing this waste of everybody's time. But the electorate should bear in mind that MPP MPs want to waste the taxpayers' money to come and ask questions that have already been answered. And we need to bear it in mind. So let them organize their party properly. Clear the issues raised about Nana Addo, his conduct, the issues about cancer and the rest. And yeah, the president is giving jobs. Look at this.
Okay.
The projects here have resulted in the creation of 400,000 jobs.
President who stood in war and saying that
he speaks about
comparing of projects is
let me show you mediocrity. This is page 40 of the book. They showed a monkey perched on a tree.
You want to compare projects.
A monkey perched on a tree.
Go and save your
was
image.
the MPP's achievement.
Go and save your
Page 40 of their book, 4 years of positive things. So far, so good. A monkey perched on a tree was the MPP's achievement. Compare this to the community day school. Compare this to this community day school.
Schools
which currently has 1,400 students. 1,400 students in each community day school. Compare it to the monkey.
I went for gentlemen for your time this morning.
President Kufuor will be the crowd.
It's a deputy minister of communications of the NPP. Daniel Ni Kwate Titus Glover is a member of parliament for Tema East and a member of the NP. I'm grateful for your time this morning. Have a great Tuesday morning, and we hope to see you some other time. Moon is ready with business.